Episode 37. You are listening to the new Glam Gal podcast, the podcast where style meets confidence. Conquer the frustration of trying on clothes and learn to dress and love the body you are in. There are no size or weight requirements here. I'm your host, Miss J. Join me, won't you? Hey Glam Gal, welcome back to the podcast. The month of March is dedicated to my post-weight loss gals, those of you who have lost weight but still don't feel stylish or confident, and you really went into the weight loss journey hoping that at the end of it, you would for sure feel stylish, you would for sure feel confident. But that stylishness and the confidence kind of hasn't arrived yet, and you're wondering what the hell has gone wrong. So in that first episode, we talked about what we call ladder thoughts. It's a concept I got from one of my teacher mentors, Cara Lowenthal, and moving from a place of self-loathing to self-love, and how for a lot of us, that's a big leap forward, so we have to do it in baby steps. This week, I want to dive in a little bit deeper into the idea of lovability. Now, a lot of us are taught this idea that if we do a certain thing, we'll feel love. And if people do certain loving things for us, we feel love towards them. Like love is some sort of thing that is tangible and outside ourselves that we can give away or we can receive. And there's some strange measuring stick out there that determines your worth and your lovability. And I think that's why a lot of my gals struggle with self-love, because they actually believe deep down that there's something fundamentally wrong with them, that they're unlovable as they are, and that they have to prove their worth. And when they decide to go on their weight loss journey, a lot of times it's to prove to themselves and to others that they're worth loving just as they are. But they don't really believe that they're worth loving just as they are. They think they're worth loving when and if X, Y, and Z occur. X being weight loss, Y being a smaller size, Z achieving some level of Pinterest perfection. Then they'll be lovable and worthwhile. And a lot of us find that when we get to the end of a weight loss journey, or any journey where we're trying to accomplish something, that feeling of self-worth and accomplishment and success is either fleeting or it never showed up at all. And I really want you to evaluate that notion because it's ingrained in us. And if you had parents who were very adamant about you achieving and you sort of became their trophy when you achieved something, you assign your value and worth based upon external praise or an external number on a scale. And I want you to really start questioning that. Sit with me for a second and wrap your brain around this idea. There is not better than here. The end of a weight loss journey is not better than the beginning of it. Now, you may decide in your head that it's better, but there is not better than here unless you think it is. And you may get there wherever there is, meaning a smaller weight, a smaller size, and still be unhappy. And you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. You can lose weight and still feel like crap. And the reason is not because there's some fundamental flawed thing wrong with you. It's because of the thoughts you started with on your journey. And if you didn't change them along the way, guess what? They followed you from there to here. So if you went to work on your body, now it's time to change them thoughts. And again, it's back to that episode 36. Your brain and your body need some time to catch up with each other. And last week we talked about ladder thoughts, but this week we're going to deep dive into the concept of lovability. And if you take nothing else away from this podcast episode, please hear this. You are 100% lovable and worthy just as you are right now. Nothing needs to change. Now, that might be a really hard sell for some of you. And I'm going to tell you how I know this to be true. And I'm going to give you some thoughts that you can borrow, some beliefs that you can borrow. There's this phrase, and it says, a man looks in a mirror, walks away, and then forgets who he is. And I think for some of us, growing up and into adulthood, we forget this concept that we were born completely lovable and worthwhile, and none of that changed. But we walk away from the mirror, the proverbial mirror, into the world, and we get all these messages that you're lovable when, you're worthwhile if, and we forget who we were. We are created beings. Now, you all may have different beliefs about how you believe you were created, but even from a scientific standpoint, we are all created beings. We didn't have a choice in our creation, yet here we are. As a created being, you are completely lovable and worthwhile. Now, this is a strongly held belief that I'm offering you, and I hope you adopt it too. You are completely lovable just as you are. Now, this may be a really hard sell for some of you, especially if you've bought into the notion that you have to be a certain size or a weight, and then you can be loved. And you have evidence for this. You don't have a partner, you don't have a boyfriend, you're not married, maybe you don't have children, you didn't get that promotion. Whatever it is, our brains are hardwired to prove itself right, especially when you're thinking something negative. It's hardwired to prove you true. So if your Tallulah brain is like, well, you don't have a man yet, you ain't got a partner, so clearly you're not lovable, you got to call BS on that. You're a created being. You're 100% lovable, 100% worthwhile. And if this is a hard sell for you, your mindset homework this week, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to really work on the notion that lovability is actually a function of you loving yourself. It has nothing to do with the external world around you. Think of the people that you love. List all the reasons that you love them. Put a scale of 1 to 10 of their lovability. How did you come up with those numbers? What are you basing it on? Here's a hint. It has nothing to do with them and everything to do with your thoughts about them. Hear me again. It has everything to do with your thoughts about them and nothing to do with the actual person that they are. The same is true for you. What number would you assign yourself? How did you come up with that number? Hint, it has nothing to do with you, the created being, and everything to do with your thoughts about yourself. Now, there are strangers that I have never met, people whose podcasts I listen to. I think they're completely lovable. I also have the innate belief that everyone's lovable, but assuming I didn't have that belief, I have friends and complete strangers that I love. I've never met them. How could I possibly love them? It's my thoughts about them. It has nothing to do with them, the person. It has everything to do with me and my thoughts about them. The number I assign them on the lovability scale. It's completely my thoughts. And my thoughts are a choice. There could be a podcaster that I absolutely adore. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love them. I love everything about them. They're so freaking yummy. They're my favorite. And then I could tell a friend, I love this person. You have to listen to them. And they could listen to that person and be like, I cannot stand her voice. Are you crazy? Same person, same podcast, same voice, completely different set of thoughts. That person's lovability in each of our eyes could be completely different because of our thoughts. Your thoughts are completely an option, including the ones you think about yourself. So if we were to take you and think of something on your body that you think is lovable, not unlovable. I know your brain is quick to jump there. Whoa, Tallulah, hold up. Think of something on your body that you think is lovable. Why do you think it's lovable? Now, if your brain is like committed to finding something unlovable, same question. Find something on your body that's unlovable. Why do you think it's unlovable? And how would you make it more lovable? Now, a lot of you will immediately go to, if I was thinner, if I was a different size, if this wrinkle didn't sag here, if this was more proportional, if I didn't have stretch marks, if this wasn't discolored, if this didn't chafe, if this didn't have pimples, whatever. You think your thoughts that it's some part of you is unlovable because of some external thing that needs to change. Nay, my friend. It's because of your thoughts about that particular part of your body. And here's the most powerful question. How can you increase your ability to love the parts of you that you find unlovable? We spend so much time and energy working on the external part. Well, if I changed the thing, then I would find it more lovable. Then I could be more loving and more kind to myself. If I got to the weight, the size, change this, change that, had the surgery, then I could find myself more lovable. I could find myself more acceptable. I just want to feel better. And you may decide to do all of those things. And I'm not knocking your decision to do any of those things. But always, do you like your reason? And if your hope is that when you change this external thing or this thing about yourself, then you'll feel more loving towards yourself, I'm here to tell you it doesn't work that way. You cannot hate yourself thin. Trust me, I have tried. Instead, how can you increase your ability to love yourself first? And then you can make whatever decisions you want from a place of love. And if we start with the basic premise that you are a created being and you have innate worth, meaning worth was placed in you when you were created and you didn't have a say in your creation, and nothing and no one can take away that worth, then it comes down to what you think about yourself and your ability to love yourself. Because love is an ability, it's a decision that you activate every day. It doesn't just sort of show up and knock you upside the head. How fun is that, though? You get to generate as much love for yourself as you want. Your ability to love, your love ability, is completely up to you. You don't have to wait to get to there. It's here. It's available right now. You don't have to be the man who walks away from the mirror and forgets what he looks like. Instead, you can take little glimpses of yourself wherever you go. Your reflection in the mirror is not going to decide who you are. It doesn't have to. It never did. And this is my big, giant hug, big, giant, squishy hug to all of you glam gals out there. And if you don't believe it today, I'm going to believe it for you. And I really want you to work on your thoughts. How can I increase my love ability? How can I increase my ability to love myself? That's the real way to stop feeling like crap. You can make a ton of physical changes, but if you don't clean up them janky thoughts, they will follow you from there to here and here to there. Now, I know that this can be really a hard sell, and this is more like me preaching today. If you need help with this, do not isolate. You are not alone. I really, really mean that. I have a free course that's called Finish Your Makeover Story, and it literally will walk you through this process. I want to get you from self-loathing to self-love and increase your lovability. Let me help you. Go to judithgaton.com. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are 100% lovable. And I'm here to help. Let me show you how. All right, Glam Gal. Miss J out.